Saturday night football, here we go. It's White against Jolly. In there is Captain Kirk. Couldn't get a clear kick away. Bunnies flying everywhere. White eventually got the handball out to McDonald, who kicks sideways, chases on. Diving over the top of it and getting fair and square whacked in the back is Eamon Buchanan, and he'll get the first possession for the night. Clear possession on the left, into the pocket. O'Loughlin Goods, it is rather, and Goods takes an excellent mark, 45 from goal. Wastes no time, runs himself into trouble, squares it up into the hot spot. Good mark, Rivers.
Well, Rivers playing on O'Loughlin, Wheatley playing on Adem Goods, and of course Miller playing on Barry Hall.
And Bizzle is on Buchanan, which could be a bit of a problem for Bizzle. You would think he's mobile, but Buchanan might be a bit nippier. Ugly looking kick, but it finds Ferguson, the other Melbourne tall defender. So no score as yet. Melbourne and Sydney feel each other out. Down the members' wing goes Ferguson. Robertson not able to really do much damage there, and Neitz was able to mop up comfortably for the Swans, poking it forward, but to no effect at all. And Nathan Brown, playing his 100th for the Demons, is in control of the footy. Had a wonderful year last year and really looking to consolidate his career. Wheatley, who's been very good for Melbourne in the hot streak in the early part of this season.
Jared Crouch picking up Aaron Davey, the goal-kicking speedster for the Demons.
Swans are flooding, and the Demons are forced to chip.
And very much one-on-one football. Ferguson freed up for the Demons.
So Miller, long kick. Neitz couldn't hang on to it. Nice pick up there by Sylvia. Run down. And quick kick by McLean. Finds the line as the D's make an early interchange.
Yes, and there we see
Motlop on.
Barry Hall doesn't get too far away from that 50-metre line. In fact, he'll probably spend more time back in it with O'Loughlin, and Goods doing the work up around the wings.
So Godfrey off, Motlop on for his first run for the Demons. And Shannon Motlop coming over to Melbourne after the passing of Troy Broadbridge. He was a late replacement on the Melbourne list. White gets rid of Jolly illegally, says the umpire. Free kick to Darren Jolly at halfback.
The umpires Brett Allen, Justin Schmidt and Matthew Head. So first blood to Jolly, big night for him. Injured his ankle last week. Swans under man. What a great effort by him. They just couldn't hang on. Nick's there to mop up. Well tied up by Brad Green. And Leo Barry with the job on David Neitz.
Yes, and we saw Neitz coming out beyond that 50-metre arc. Big kicks from the centre will get to the full forward.
So a free kick this time to White. It's 15-all in the ruck contest. Green receives it short. Melbourne not able to get anything going. Here's their chance, although it doesn't fall for Neitz. Who's into the back of Neitz. And a clear free kick. I called McVeigh Nix previously. This is Matthew Nixon. Now he gives to Jolly at halfback for the Swans.
Darren Jolly traded to the Swans to pick 15 to half-forward Hall with strength. O'Keefe came in to spoil the party. Sparrow was about to take it on the second bite.
And Ryan Ferguson has gone to Adem Goods. Miller with Hall, and back in the goal square, O'Loughlin, the full forward at the moment, and they will chop and change the Sydney Swans. Rivers playing on O'Loughlin.
Ablett knocked off the ball. Rigoni shepherds unsuccessfully. Well won by Bolton. On the non-preferred side, into the pocket. Hall backing back. Ferguson's the extra man. He'll concede the rush behind. Couldn't do much else there.
I would think Paul Roos would be happy if this is a low-scoring first quarter. The last thing he would want is to see Melbourne get off to a fly. So I'm sure he'd be happy to bottle it up, slow the tempo of the game in this first term here. Just cannot afford the Demons to get away to a fly.
Long ball from Wheatley, very long, almost to the circle. McLean, Rigoni, and McDonald's. A good takeaway, and Neitz is on the end of it.
Rob, interesting with that Wheatley kick. This year, he's taken 44 of their 61 kick-ins. Only 2 kicks have not hit the target.
Yeah, well, he's a long kick. As we saw there on this short Sydney cricket ground, a fullback who's a decent kick can afford to kick it long because he'll reach the centre, and they'll just have numbers underneath the ball like that. They'll just flood that area.
We're on the 50. Neitz kicks the first goal of the night. It was a great move by Melbourne. From one end to the other, it was perfectly executed off the long Wheatley kick-in. A couple of quick movements to McDonald and a perfect delivery to Neitz. Nothing Barry could do about it.
Good result for the Demons. Wheatley, from his kick-ins now, has resulted in 8 goals for, which is number 1 in the AFL, so plenty of results from his kick-ins. Swans go into attack. O'Loughlin front. O'Keefe. High ball. Miller one out with Hall. Hall with strength. Works Miller under the ball. And Ferguson just gets there in the nick of time.
Well, let's see if Wheatley goes the long bomb down the middle of the ground. That's where Jeff White has set himself. Desperation by Ferguson to get a hand on that. Jeff White is down the middle. They've decided to mix it up and go short.
And they'd want to too, wouldn't they? They don't want to play all their cards in the first hand of the evening. Now it's back with Johnston, who dabs it to Rigoni. Oh, gee, that's an untidy hand pass, but Wheatley was alert to Johnston, and good move. Sylvia now. Where's Neitz? He's at the end of it again. Crashes a teammate and does damage. Can Melbourne at least get a consolation? Motlop working it on. Okay, here's Uze. He's done it. He's the soccer specialist. Boy, who did Neitz get? Green. He's up and he's okay by the look of it.
And Brad Green would expect nothing less from his skipper. If he's at full charge, well, if you get in the way, you pay the price. Good courage by Green to go, knowing that the hit was likely to come. And here we see.
He did well there, didn't he?
Oh, he did. He didn't take control of the foot. He more or less just tapped it down. Knew what he was doing every step of the way. And the Demons have been starting Uze in the forward pocket in most of the games this year. And there's a shot of Rivers going back to fullback. Jared Rivers won't be happy playing back there, and I think Paul Roos will be keen to make sure that O'Loughlin stays close to the goals.
So another goal from a Paul Wheatley kick out. He's up to 9-4 this year. Quick kick out of the pack by Kirk. Inside, his team's attacking 50. Wheatley backed himself. Now Brown on defensive 50. Good spot up on the wing. Finds McLean. Got 20 metres to work with. Goes the short option to Uze. Tries to turn Kennelly inside out. Not happy with that decision, Adem Uze.
Did he put it on the ground, or did it just slip from his grasp? I guess that's the question. Keith arriving, making the spoil. We'll have another look at it and we'll see if we can reach a verdict on it.
He had it. Yep,
fell out.
Fair enough.
Over the footy, and the umpires are pretty red hot on that. Good effort there by Sylvia, the Melbourne youngster, to make sure that ball went out of play.
55 from the Demons goal. They've got the first 2 of the game. Here's Brown. Touched off the boot. Play on, says the umpire. Barry, it is 150th. And Kennelly really couldn't do much else. It's 50 out from the Demons goal.
And Luke Ablett running with Travis Johnson. Actually spoke to those youngsters down on the ground before we started the game, who we just saw in picture there. A couple of young boys, red-hot Sydney Swan supporters. Barry Hall's their idol.
Isaiah told them just where the ground level camera was going to be, Rob. There's the skipper, Kirk. Crouch now continuing that uninterrupted run of games since his league career began. 161 tonight. Melbourne's interstate record of late is not great, but they've started well here, and they might try and kick a score that Sydney just can't match. They've kicked the first two. White blazes. Now, Bizzle is there and did it well. Doesn't take his eyes off the footy, Clint Bizzle. Has a couple of calls. One of them is from Nathan Brown. Goods is chasing, but belatedly. And it's a strong grab from Green. He has a deadly left foot.
Anytime you can hit Brad Green inside that forward 50, you go for it, because you know that distance will never worry him. And that's the curry of Bizzle inside the centre square. He's playing back pocket on Buchanan. And Nathan Brown in picture, he's playing a run-with role on Nick Davis, and we'll get a shot of Nick Davis soon. Nick Davis, Paul Roos is using him as a midfielder, just trying to add an extra string or two to his bow.
No touches for Davis, forward to Brown.
Yeah, and look, we know Davis is a dangerous half-forward, but he needs to be able to play other areas.
Brad Green to really consolidate here for the Demons. And he is a wonderful kick for goal. They have three. Doing it well. They really have a diverse menu of options up forward, the Demons.
Yes, they do. They don't rely on just the full forward in David Neitz. They've got Robertson, they've got Green, they've got Uze. Cameron Bruce, of course, he's not playing tonight, but he kicks plenty of goals. And there's a shot of Nick Davis. He's been sent by the runner to go back into the forward line. He just wasn't accountable enough, as we saw Nathan Brown in plenty of space able to set that last goal up.
Well, the Demons have taken a fair bit of sting out of this Sydney crowd early. So we'll have another bounce in the middle.
Contested possessions, Melbourne 21, Sydney 5. Just lets you think that Sydney are nowhere near tight enough in this early stage of the game.
Another clearance for Melbourne. White on the left boot, fed out by Johnston. But this time Sydney went out through Eamon Buchanan. It's a high ball, but the pass is good enough, and it finds Craig Bolton. Goods caught behind, nudges his opponent under the ball. Miller evades the Goods tackle. It's a 3-on-1 contest here in favour of the Swans, but somehow at the back of the pack lurking was Motlop. Paddles. Kicking in danger? No, says the umpire. Still play on. Sydney went out. Bolton to Ablett. Now Sydney build. Crouch in the midfield. Punts it long. Hall's there. So is Davis. Hall sandwiched between two Demons. Could not mark. And now it spills free.
Brown covering it, two against him. On McDonald it was for Melbourne. The numbers prevail in the end. And Nick Davis gives to Jude Bolton. Good pressure though from Melbourne. And McDonald it was still battling on. Sylvia now. McVeigh takes him over.
Bit of play that I really liked was this. You could see Miller was prepared to leave Barry Hall and back himself and help out a teammate, and that will really please Neil Danaher. Just shows that he's not overly conscious on going with Hall all the way.
Sydney have pressed for a couple of behinds, but they still haven't really built up one coherent move towards goal. Jolly well tied up. Jude Bolton, who's been a big possessioner and a good player for them so far this year. O'Loughlin, sleight of hand to Davis, who nails it. Very sleight of hand. The hands never lift the wrists.
Let's have a quick look at it.
That wasn't a flattering glimpse, was it?
Was that a flick pass?
I reckon it was. It was quicker than that.
I tell you what, Teddy Whitten would be proud of it. And Paul Roos made the move, getting Davis into the forward line, and it's paid off. He cost them a goal. He's repaid it within 5 minutes.
White comfortably. Running onto it beautifully is McLean. He can go all the way here. He runs to 40 and Brock McLean has kicked an absolute ripper. Oh, that was fantastic football. A beautiful tap by White. McLean read it beautifully. Swoops, bounced, goal.
And I just love the way he backs himself. He has a bounce. The Melbourne forwards all set up well back near the goals. That's why he was able to run through the centre half forward area without any opposition. And that's a little bit of strategy in football. There's the quick hands. Yes, certainly a bit of a handball there, Tim. We've got to play that.
No, that looked all right from that angle. We were a bit worried about it for a moment, but Melbourne have provided the quickest of ripostes. And they have their fourth. Jolly went early and hung in the air long enough to win. Buchanan, Regoni getting a hand onto it. Nathan Brown, O'Keefe came at him, lined him up there. Godfrey well tackled. It's on now. This is a contest. There'll be a ball up. It's Melbourne by 16 points. And the red and whites not enjoying the early part. That might have been in the back. Jolly, White sweeping it away. Buchanan onto it, has to get it out now that he's dived on the ball. Sylvia for Melbourne, well done for Brown. Another demon breakaway. Motlop, can he kick one? Can he join the goal feast? It was clever. It just wobbled across. Melbourne by 17.
Do his confidence good though, Tim. That was a nice clean take of the football. Came in quickly. Melbourne on that outer wing just bashed and crashed it forward. Just had the momentum. Just weight of numbers in the end. Put it in the Demons' hands. And that Sydney defence already under a lot of pressure.
Kennelly short to Crouch, who drives it long. Beautiful kick to centre wing. Members side finds Jude Bolton.
Well, it's early days, but Brad Miller is certainly mixing it and matching it with Barry.
This is like an old heavyweight meeting a young up-and-comer with a lot of ambition on his way to the top.
And just think what a challenge it is to throw down to Brad Miller to be able to play on one of the best key forwards in the comp.
McLean yet again. There's Miller. Weighs up the options, decides to go long and direct. Neitz, well played Barry. Attacking it again is Brown, who's having a magnificent start. Crouch to O'Keefe. Matthews concedes some territory. Now Barry again. Oh, he's got almost been caught by Davey. Just managed to evade the tackle. Now he goes directly. Waiting down. Here's a chance for Buchanan. On the left boot.
Davey doing a power of running in that Melbourne forward line, tried to put pressure on the Swan defenders. I reckon he might have learnt something with that last chase on Leo Barry, and that is that Leo will switch back onto that left foot at every opportunity.
Demons work it around. I thought Hall might have just gone the wrong way there, as Buchanan was loose with the footy and Hall ran to assist him, and it took Miller with him. Whereas if Hall had hung back, Buchanan had a lot of space. Buchanan making the spoil on Nathan Brown and forcing a throw in. Melbourne by 16. Having much the best of the opening quarter, but Sydney, who lost here against Adelaide last week, have a pretty proud recent record here. Very resilient team. White beating Jolly there for Neitz to do the roving. Now Uze against Nix. Uze could be dangerous. Kennelly coming the other way. Motlop in the thick of it in this opening quarter has made a pretty good start. Nix mown down by Uze and gone.
Had prior opportunity, Tim. And this is the strength of this Melbourne team. They really harass in their forward 50. Aaron Davey, Shannon Motlop will realise he's got to do that. He'll have to follow his teammates. Uze wins himself a free kick.
It's the right pocket for him.
It will suit that left boot of his. And Christie, some changes on the bench for the Demons.
Yeah, Brock McLean has just come off. It looks like he's just come off for a rest. They really seem to be rotating quite a lot, Melbourne, already.
Love watching Uze from positions like this. So skillful with that left foot. He's already socked one off the ground. And this is across the face. Not sure how the Albanian soccer team's going at the moment, but they could use this bloke.
Kennelly to do the kicking in. And again he goes short into the pocket.
Melbourne have been happy for Neitz to play well out from the goal square the last 5 minutes.
McVeigh run down. Aaron Davey, magnificent tackle.
Perfect example of what we were talking about. The speedsters in that Melbourne forward line, they just love doing that. That'll be on the highlight tape early in the week.
If you just let this get, you see McVeigh actually gets up and with his hand he motions to one of his teammates talk. He obviously didn't get the message.
Now if he can kick the goal, it is a real deflator to the Swans.
So McVeigh immediately comes off. Davey, 52 from goal. Drop punt on its way. And he's hooked it.
Demons by 3 goals. Swans with their work cut out early. Kennelly giving it to Matthews, who started on the bench. And the Swans get a bit of movement going early. They don't want to give Melbourne too much start. It took them nearly 3 quarters to get it working against Brisbane a fortnight ago when they came from behind to win. Matthews arrives to Crum now. Hall and Miller. And Hall's stronger body prevailing there. Done all right with the kick off the ground. Good's just not quite able to control it.
Good decision to get the soccer kick. He knew if he picked it up he'd get wrapped up in the tackle, Barry Hall. And Christie, Melbourne have made their first ruck change.
Yeah, Jeff White has just come off and Jamar is on the ground.
Throw in Sydney's forward pocket. Ball against Jamar. Oh, Lachlan slick. Brilliant ball. Oh, he's missed it. From point blank range. What about the handball from O'Loughlin? But Hall,
well, just super quick.
Himself.
I'd love to see the kick again. There's Paul Kelly, former captain. Have a look at the kick. Does he go to drop punt it? It comes off a mongrel punt. I've got no idea what he was trying to do.
It's almost a check side, wasn't it?
Yeah. Just needed to drop punt it from that spot.
That hand pass was slicker than O'Loughlin's first one that led to their only goal. Sylvia marks the long kick in, which again came from Paul Wheatley. Can they maintain their hit rate off his kicks into play? Not this time. Crouch brought down. So Melbourne by 17 points and looking far more capable of scoring. Goods, little of the footy thus far. Good takeaway for the Swans. Spriggs working it to Schneider. Now, he emerged 2 years ago in the match here, and he might just do it again tonight. Plenty of space out the back of the contest. And Neil Danaher would not be happy that Schneider was able to receive 20 metres in the clear, take a couple of bounces and put that one through. And there's a shot of Ty Kennelly, the dashing half-back flanker. You can see he doesn't want to be back there. Whoever goes on to Kennelly drags him back to the goal square, and the reason for that is to take away his dash off half-back.
Goods press through the pack. Kirk attacks it. Socket off the ground by Uze. And Leo Barry will get there first. So Adam Schneider with his first kick of the match. Goals for Sydney. Long ball looking for Hall. He's holding on to Miller. Holding! And even Barry puts up the hand and says, yep, you got me.
Well, you'd have to say the honours have gone to Miller in this first quarter.
And Uze finds Bizzle. To the wing. Godfrey. Bell. Handball's the target. And Wheatley gains about 10 metres for his team.
Left arm hanging a little limply there. I hope he hasn't done any damage. Demons by 11 points.
And again, you do see Shannon Motlop dragging Kennelly out of the action.
Crowded contest. Sydney free kick for a high tackle.
Okay, guys, thanks. Right, Echo.
Brett Allen's decision, and it'll be Spriggs, the former Cat, from just behind the centre line. Nick Davis, now fashionable white boots. You're almost a nobody if you don't wear them. Here's Roberts Thompson, but the ball getting away from him, and it's a Melbourne free kick to Ferguson.
Right there, don't go for it.
Black boots are trendy now.
Well, they might become the exception rather than the rule, and I suppose that does make them trendy.
Ferguson, tough one for anyone to mark. Jamar nudged under it by Goods. Bolton, Schneider ducked the head. Jude Bolt. Back of the pack, Matthews finds Spriggs. Kick smothered by Bizzle. Rigoni head over the ball. Back to Bizzle. Now Armstrong. Awkward left foot kick, nevertheless finds its target. McLean on centre wing. Handballs over the top to Godfrey. Wobbles one inside 50. And over the shoulder, says umpire Schmidt, and the free kick is going Melbourne's way. The recipient is Russell Robertson.
And just a quick rest for Jeff White. He's back on the ground.
You can see Adem Goods running down to the goal square. He's been given a run in the ruck. He started in the forward line for the Swans. Been in good form this year. Very versatile, can play anywhere.
10 goals, 3 so far this season for Russell Robertson. Tight angle. Makes a good fist of it. Just missed to the left. Can't work out what the free was for. The umpire said over the shoulder. That was the kick from Godfrey. That's the free.
Swans with a couple of chips around the flank. Barry to Jude Bolton. It's just got the carry to Kirk. The acting captain. Craig Bolton to Crouch. This is promising for the Swans. Schneider is there. Miller just able to reach over him and then rush a behind.
He's adapted to that defensive role very well. In fact, he helped out a teammate. He had Barry Hall covered and just made the extra attempt to beat Schneider in the marking contest.
Tell you what, Rod, right at the moment, the Swans wouldn't be too unhappy with an 11-point deficit, would they?
No, they wouldn't, because
considering Melbourne
have come out and blasted teams this year early in games, so they're hanging in pretty well.
Long kick by Bizzle. From the side, Rivers. Almost accidentally in the end. Wonderful mark. Just stuck in the left mid. Ordinary kick. Straight to Kirk. To Crouch. Over the top to Bolton. He's tackled well by Davey. Crouch comes in to back up. Now McLean. Barry's in there. We'll have a bounce in Melbourne's true centre-half forward position.
Gee, well done by Leo Barry, because they were going en masse, the Demons, towards goal. That's the second poor kick by Jared Rivers. Very dangerous one to put it in that corridor and muck it.
Goal to either team would be pretty handy here. Neitz in the midst of that. Spriggs worked it out. Jude Bolton and Craig Bolton. But it's not done with yet for the Swans, because Uze is the first man there. Nix comes at him. Not a bad result for the Swans. And the Boltons having plenty of it in the early part. So in the last 80 seconds now, White and Goods. White Goods. Rigoni finally reached his 100 games last week. Nothing happening there, so with a minute to go.
And Lewis Roberts Thompson in picture, who's been playing a fair bit in defence, whilst Goods is doing the ruck work. He's gone to centre half forward.
Kirk in heavy traffic. Armstrong, almost a drop kick attempt. White squeezes the kick out and Davey takes the mark.
He back-heeled it. Now, whether he did it Armstrong, it was very clever.
Davey, beautiful kick.
That is a sensational kick.
And a great lead too from Motlop.
And if he kicks it, you can just imagine the response he'll get from his teammates.
It's a real daisy cutter from Aaron Davey. And Shannon Motlop, who has done particularly well since coming on, will line up. Played 54 games for the Roos for 31 goals between 1999 and 2003. Played the flag for the Roos in 99. Now his first game for the D's. It was a big build-up, but he's let us down.
Well, from set shots, 2 goals for, they've been quite wasteful.
They'll finish the quarter with a 12-point lead, barring a Sydney catastrophe here. And they probably should have made more of it, the Demons. Get the feeling it might be one of those nights where the Swans just won't go away. Nix takes it wide, and that will put paid to the opening term. Melbourne have taken the honours, but there's a lot of footy left in it yet. Neil Danaher knows it only too well. It's the Demons by a couple of straight kicks.
Yes, it was a good start. I just thought that Sydney would be trying to close the game up, make it hard for Melbourne to score. They're a little bit fortunate that Melbourne didn't kick more accurately. They could have easily been 4 goals behind.
So round 5 action, playing for the Ron Barassi Cup tonight are the Swans and the Demons, and at the first change, Melbourne leads Sydney by 2 goals.
Monday, the traditional Anzac Day clash sees Old Foes Essendon and Collingwood in a battle for pride, honour and 4 valuable points. Collingwood Essendon, 5 o'clock Monday on Fox Footy Channel.
He's coming back. Not too many men will go 57 rounds with the catalogue man. He's immense. He sure tests a man's ability to stay true. Dougie McKenna could end this right now. All he has to do is take a sip of that average bourbon. You've ever seen anything quite like this?
The long weekend is the perfect time to get into that big project around the home. Halogen Tripod Work Light, just $28.89. Aluminium work platform, great value at $59. GMC air compressor, a low $98. Sun King folding clothesline, just $49. Garden spade or fork, only $6.98 each. If you happen to find a cheaper price on a stocked item, we'll beat it by 10%.
Buildings Warehouse.
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
We're here in Melbourne to relive a classic footy moment that has it all.
Who else could give us all this?
Who else but the maestro? Hey, James.
Hey, guys.
All right, so it's Essendon 131, West Coast 131. 30 minutes and 48 seconds gone.
Umpire doesn't ball up and it's on. He's got it. Hey, maybe Melbourne. Not the umpire, I'm bully. Bully hits it at the head. Wait, the fairy tale's complete. James Hard, you are a champion. Yes. Get out. James Hard, yeah.
Whatever happened to the real Australia? The Australia where the only high-rise on the beach was temporary, where it was harder to find a noisy spot than a quiet one, where the only things colouring the water were fish. Well, I got news for you. The real Australia is still here. Come and see the real thing, come and see the real thing, come and see. All good, mate.
On Tuesday night, the highest flying swan of them all, Bobby.
not Mr. Tight Shorts himself. Warwick Cabot, plus a tough man with the Bombers and the Kangaroos, Johnny Casson.
Grumpy Old Man, Tuesday on Fox Footy Channel.
So the D's by 2 goals.
As the second term is put in motion by Justin Schmidt with a pretty good bounce. White getting a good run at it, but Jolly beats him. Johnston to nobody but himself. And to himself again if he's quick enough, but Luke Ablin beats him to the ball. Johnston plays cat and mouse. Kirk now with Ablett laying the shepherd. Jolly. Ablett perhaps not quite expecting it, otherwise he was exhausted. And that wasn't quite out. And Ferguson, I think, gave up and let it do one more semi-roll. He actually could have picked that up because the entire ball has to be outside the line. Doesn't it, Corners?
Correct. Throw in. Wheatley, little toe tap. Good pick-up by Schneider to Judebob to Goods. Goods goes wide, O'Loughlin's the lead. Pulled the screen for in the goal square, but the option was good. And O'Loughlin will line up just slightly worse than a 45-degree angle, kicking from about 40 metres out.
As soon as Goods took the mark, O'Loughlin was on his bike leading out to that pocket, and Goods didn't even have to look. He knew that his teammate would be running out into space. And these forward line coaches, they do all these set plays through the week, all their strategies, and that's certainly one of them that we saw, and very, very effective.
Played his 200th game last week, did Michael O'Loughlin. Kicked 2 goals in that game, which was his first for season 2005. And he comes. Beautiful looking kick. It is the woodwork. Hit the stick. As distinct from behind the stick.
This is your favourite fullback kicking in quarter, so down the middle he goes.
Yeah, as he did with his first in the previous quarter. Rivers knew it was coming but wasn't able to take the mark. Sylvia, Johnston, good move to Rivers, just threading it to him. Back to Sylvia. Now Uze versus Neitz. And he just got that little hand pass intended for himself a bit too sweetly. Away to the boundary line. Neitz is asking for a free. Claiming it was deliberate. I wouldn't have thought he would go deliberately out there. Maybe he did. Jolly beats White. He's given a pretty fair account of himself so far. Matthews, Kirk and Nix, and the Swans are in motion. Wheatley in good position here. O'Loughlin with Rivers. Goods arriving too late.
Let's check in with Neil and Christie.
Thanks, Stephen. It's still fairly warmish down here, and both teams looking after their midfield, rotating and using the bench 8 times in that first quarter.
Yeah, Darren Jolly's following Jeff White everywhere, even off the bench. Whenever White takes a rest, he'll go straight off and leave the ruck work up to Goods.
Beautifully snared by Kirk to Ablett. Kick smothered by Wheatley, who kicks to the lead of Robertson. Couldn't quite hang on to it. Oh, had a hack out of fresh air. Missed. Connected with Cavelli. He's okay.
And Brett Kirk has just been dominating the stoppages, just winning the ball in close.
4 clearances, 9 disposals for Brett Kirk.
Young Brock McLean has got the responsibility on Kirk.
I reckon that almost hit Jolly's head. The Swans have the numbers. Nix.
David Spriggs, just the 10 minutes in that first quarter. He's a real runner. And Paul Roos will use him in bursts.
And Ryan O'Keefe, who was on the bench, has just come back. McLean's had a bit of it to Rigoni. Robertson the target here. Good spoil by Dempster, who's well wrapped up. Neitz wants ball and gets it.
Could kick this. If he decides to have a crack, he could go the distance.
There was a time when the so-called 50-metre arcs at this ground were about 45 from goal, but these days they are, I think, out at 50 because, in fact, the arc actually reaches the centre square.
And then stops. We might get a shot at that later.
But Neitz from this range has kicked goals in the past. Won't quite carry home. It's still dangerous, very much alive. Green the tackler. So a ball up and far enough from goal to give Melbourne a bit of a chance. And the Swans don't want to be allowing them to extend this lead. Umpire head bounces it well. Important to get a good bounce in there. And it's won again by Jolly. Matthews sees a sea of red and blue but gets it off. Kirk and Craig Bolton. Davey and Uze double block it and force a throw in.
And pats on the back to Aaron Davey. He is a tireless worker. We know he's a speedster. He can kick goals, but have a look at that. The smother off the boot locks the ball in the forward line for the Demons.
30 from Melbourne's goal. White. Good pick up by Uze. Good snap by Uze. Great goal by Uze.
And quarters, as good as it was by Uze, Aaron Davey made it a chance to happen because he was the one who locked it in that Melbourne forward pocket area. And the talents of Uze, and he would be sniffing around the outside of that pack, realising a quick ball coming out just suited his left boot. Oh, he was on the preferred side.
2 goals to Adem Uze.
That's what Tim was talking about, the 50-metre arcs. They actually run into the centre square line, and this is the shortest ground in the competition.
Jamar in ruck against Jolly early in the quarter. Kirk buried there, so another ball up. A regulation Aussie rules goal from Adem Uze that time. Stocker won in the first quarter. We've established that Albania are currently ranked 89 in the world, and they have an international coming up against Poland before too long. I wonder if Adem will get the call. Sylvia levering the hand pass on. Craig Bolton has it covered and has the line in his sights.
Describe them as traditional rivals?
Let's call them that just for tonight. The marriage of convenience.
I'm just looking at Kennelly's trying to get into the action. He's running up to this contest. Dempster going back. Whoever he picks up, you can be assured, will take him back to the Melbourne goal square. They want Kennelly out of the action.
Motlop ganged up on McLean. Liked his efforts so far, but no result here. Schneider coming back with the flight.
And he dishes off to Kennelly, who goes out wide to O'Keefe, kicks to a one-on-one contest. Well done, Wheatley, but the Swans have the extra man. O'Keefe wanted back himself in the end to Schneider, and now kicks to that extra man who peeled off. It was Matthew Neitz. He could almost run on kick a goal here. He runs to 50, shanks the kick, almost to mark to Buchanan, but not quite. Clearing kick by Bizzle, but for how long? McLean will get there first. Picks it up and bangs it onto the boot in old-fashioned style, and that'll do.
That was old-fashioned. Well, Bizzle's kick was just a kick to anywhere, just to get it out of there, and then the second one, as you described so well.
And in this quarter, the clearance is starting to be dominated by the Demons. And this season so far, that's been a strength of this Sydney team, winning the clearances.
Back of the pack, they're all looking at it.
Here goes one.
Now Bolton, nice handball, pops it over the top to Matthews. Looks for O'Loughlin, Hall's also there, they both miss it. Good pick up under pressure by Miller. Handball's a little bit suspect. Now Rigoni. It's 50 out from the Swans goal. A clearing kick by Sylvia. It's not a bad one to half forward. Uze got a bad bounce. Nix is there. It's a one-on-one. It's a free kick to Uze. Didn't need to do it, Matthew Nix.
Pressure. Uze's been in good form. Uze's been able to kick a couple of goals already. And just the danger of Uze near that 50-metre line forced Nix to make an error. He was worried. He knew if Uze got away from him, probably another goal. And he was pressured into giving a free kick.
He's 55 out from goal. Tumbles one to the tip of the goal square. Robertson in front, couldn't mark. Jamar the snap. Yes! Jamar kicks his third career goal, playing his 16th game. Well done by the big fella.
I've just got to see that Uze kick again. I have no idea what he tried to do. In the end, again, it was a mongrel punt coming off the boot. I think halfway through dropping it, he thought, I'll go a big spiral torpedo.
He went for the torpy.
And hasn't got onto it at all. Uze, a rush of blood to the head. He thought, I'll get onto a big spiral torpedo here. Absolutely cruelled the kick, and the Demons were lucky to get away with that goal.
And just for the moment, Mark Jamar is one of their crummers. Now he's doing the ruck work. Swans getting good numbers to every contest in this quarter, but it's been Melbourne kicking the goals, and they've extended their lead to 23.
And we've got Roberts-Thompson did that centre bounce. He's now pushed towards centre half forward, and Adem Goods will take over. Paul Roos really doesn't want Adem Goods to be doing the centre square bounce ruck work. Knee injury last year, you'll remember.
This is Dempster for Sydney, and that's a clever little kick for Goods. Where's Hall? He's nearly got it. He was just bodied out of it by Rivers at the death. Demon defence held up well. Hall hasn't taken a mark yet. Bizzle with Kirk in the box seat, I thought, but Green is there to crumb. Motlop's got it. A long way from home. Gee, Swans can't concede another here. They're getting in deep. Here's Robertson. Didn't pick it up. And can't get it off to anybody. Neitz fighting on, but Barry's able to shake him. Kirk. Kennelly. But that half-back line, so often a springboard, hasn't really been able to give much yet.
Kennelly's moved down onto Russell Robertson. It'll be interesting to see if Robertson pushes back deep. And there's Darren Jolly. It looks like he's breathing pretty hard. This is the advantage for Sydney. Goods in the ruck. He won't win the ruck contest necessarily, but around the ground he'll be far more mobile than Jamar.
Fresh air by Godfrey. Jude Bolton knocked off the ball. Fairly, says the umpire, by Sylvia. Another bounce. Leading stat getters in the game for Sydney. 11 to Kirk, 10 to Jude Bolton. For the D's, 8 apiece to McLean, Uze and Rivers. Uze's the only multiple goal scorer in the match so far with a couple. Goods. That's what Robert Walsh was talking about, but an ineffective handball was pinched by Davey into the pocket. Uze in front, can't mark. And Dempster's more than happy to see it over the line.
And worries on the brow of Paul Kelly. Aaron Davey, thrilling player. Just not quite able to steer it into the chest of his leading teammate there. Goods working hard. Bolton adds to his stats but misses the target. Spriggs able to knock it forward. Did well. Roberts-Thompson to O'Keefe. And the Swans turn defence into attack. Can Hall mark this time?
He got the early shove on Miller. Just got the early shove on Miller. Pushed him out of the way.
Was the ball within 5 metres when he did?
Probably not. And this is just the third time Barry's touched the footy. We'll see if we can pick it up. Smart play by Barry. And a good kick by O'Keefe to the advantage side of him. No, we can't pick it up there, but he's put the shove on Miller. And just used his strength and nous to mark the footy.
Just the Swans' second set shot for goal of the night. Melbourne have had 6. Barry Hall kicks the goal.
Let's have a look at Barry here. See the shove? Well done.
I just wonder what the explanation and the interpretation is there. Clearly the ball had to be outside 5 metre range when he did it.
Important goal for Sydney as a studious Paul Roos looks on. Demons now by 17 points.
And again, Roberts-Thompson in the ruck, and Goods will follow in and become the follower.
Desperate stuff by Keith. Johnston squeezes the kick out for Melbourne to half forward. Motlop leads Dempster in the race for the ball. Going to keep his feet. Ackland having a break.
Jeff White's still on the bench for Melbourne. He's okay, he's just being rested, but he's been on the phone a couple of times and still on the bench.
Melbourne continually have two forwards deep in the goal square. They don't get sucked up into the play.
High tackle on Ablett, no question. Free kick.
At the moment, it's Neitz and Uzo.
Melbourne rotating their midfield as well. James McDonald there with Regani. We saw McLean having a breather a few minutes ago. They have such midfield depth that even without Cameron Bruce, they can bring the changes and keep everybody as fresh as possible. Long ball, Ablett in the O'Keefe direction, but there are two against him. Gee, I thought Whitley's done enough. Bevan mops up to Sydney. Hall in the box seat. Brown over the top, did well. Jude Bolt mown down. That was a good tackle by Godfrey. Nathan Brown mops up. Rivers in clear territory.
It was a goal-saving tackle, wasn't it, in the end by Godfrey? Terrific.
And just great defensive play there by the Demons with that last long kick that went in. Miller was caught underneath the football and Nathan Brown came over the top to rescue him.
Jamar the tap. Now Green into the pocket. It'll be out on the full. So Roberts Thompson to take the kick.
With Barry Hall playing on Miller, who's probably a little bit more inexperienced as a defender, would Sydney be wanting to get Hall sort of one out more with him?
Well, they certainly would, Christy. That the problem is they just aren't winning the clearances to get the ball to him enough.
Rivers, smack bang in the middle of the SCG, drives it long to it. Oh, big leap by Leo Barry. It was a contested situation. That would have been mark of the year. Robert Wall's love child couldn't quite take it, and there's a blue on behind play. And it's a pretty decent one too. As the ball goes inside, the Swans attacking 50. And it is a throw in, and down the other end, things are just broken up. And that got quite a little bit heated for 10 or 15 seconds or so. There's the big leap by Leo Barry from the side.
I don't think Nita likes being a stepladder.
Pieces restored. Into the second half of this second term, the Demons still lead by 17 points. Swans have only kicked 3 goals. Hall and Jamar. Craig Bolt did well. Davis, specialist goal kicker, not quite. Ferguson arriving, getting the fist in there, and the margin is 16 points.
And that's after that marking attempt on Neitz. And a bit of jumper pulling going on.
Everyone's seeing red.
So Wheatley to do the kicking in. Goes the short option. Finds Johnston. Have you seen Johnston's year so far, Rob? Travis Johnston, have you seen his year so far?
I think he's been really good. Got himself fit. And we've been waiting for a long while, but he is a very talented player. And I think he's earned respect with his teammates for the way he's gone about his football. Very clever.
To the wing. White's back on. It's bowled over by Jude Bolton and another throw in.
And that brings Jeff White back on. Jamar off.
And Russell Robertson also.
Have a look at the number of marks taken in this quarter by both teams. Very, very low.
White over the top. Armstrong. Evan Goods has a breather. Barking the orders from the boundary line. Jolly tapped it down to Kirk. Well done, McLean, who's been really good tonight in the clinches. Handball fed out to Davey on his non-preferred side.
Yeah, just had no oomph in the kick, no strength in that right foot kick.
It's marked by Neitz. He prefers to kick up the line and finds Barry to the wing. Ablett kicks inside 50. Hall's got to beat 2. And Bizzle's happy to knock it over the line.
And have a look at that. He doesn't want it that high. He wants it put out in front on a lead. And that's something that Melbourne do particularly well. They get the third man up to help in defence. They really are prepared to leave their opponent to get across to a teammate who's under pressure. We've seen Wheatley and Nathan Brown do it repeatedly.
Demons have this covered. Bizzle, Blazers. Places it pretty well here. Bell able to run onto it and just shake McVeigh, but lose the footy in the process. Gains metres and keeps it inside for a moment.
It was a torpedo off the ground.
Yeah. And now it's out on the full off Sylvia's shin.
The boundary umpire guessed because he was 100 metres away.
It looked all right to me. That's how I saw it as well. Dempster finds Craig Bolton. Gee, goals are hard to come by at the moment. Wheatley went ambitiously. Bevan waited back. Here's Uze, ever dangerous. Now what will this do? How will it bounce? Oh, you just never know what he might put on the ball. He almost casts a spell over it at times. He's kicked 2-2.
Do you think he loves a shot of goal, Tim?
He quite enjoys it on a fine night in Sydney.
So nicely done by the Swans here. Barry's got it at half back. Goes back inside to Neitz. Just kicks in the nick of time. And to the wing finds O'Keefe.
Just need to get another goal, Sydney. Get another one before half-time and they're well and truly in the contest.
Spriggs looking to move it quickly. Here's the chance for Hall. There's one out with Miller. Coming in from the side. The big fist, I think it was Rivers. No, it was Armstrong in the end.
Yeah, they do that particularly well.
Barry's not happy.
He's not happy because the ball's coming in so high, coming in on top of him, and they're jumping at him from all angles.
So he'll contest this throw in with White. Beautifully done to Schneider on his non-preferred side. He's got a double back. Handballs to O'Keefe. Now to Craig Bolton. Back to O'Keefe again. Running round in circles the Swans. Now Neitz kicks a high ball to no one in particular. Pack fly. Back of the pack is O'Loughlin. Motlop comes in. And Melbourne happy to see it over the line. Is it intentional? Yes, says the umpire. No need to do it in the end. It was headed out anyway. That's right. So Loughlin's got it.
Ruck work of Barry Hall at that last boundary throw-in was superb. He's more than just a gun forward. He's a clever ruckman.
If Schneider had the right foot then, it was an easy shot at goal.
Oh, this fella can do anything.
Now Loughlin's got it. He's going the banana. This is an impossible kick from there. And that's a rush behind.
And Barry Hall in a ruck contest. And that's the deliberate out of bounds against Rivers. Barry Hall in a ruck contest, just fantastic.
And as you said, Rob, that Demon defence is teaming very well. Johnston to Brown to try and open things up here. Neitz with 2 to beat. Barry again. Neitz falling on.
It was something to remember his 150th game by.
Yeah. Well, Jared Crouch has been hurt. Could this be the end of a streak?
Now, is that
he hurt his collarbone in Ireland. Neitz fell on him like an old oak tree, and he might be in some bother.
Well, he talked during the week about the playing streak. Won't last forever.
Yeah.
Maybe he wasn't mozzing himself.
And he's immediately in the fray and thrown to the ground. Spriggs works it off, but Bizzle's got it. His former Geelong teammate needs to get rid of it. Somehow threaded it between Sydney legs, but straight to Jude Bolton. Not much doing out there, and inevitably a throw-in.
Still feeling the collarbone off the players, Jared Crouch.
Not a good sign, and neither's that. Well, I suppose the captain's just been given a relief break on the bench, so to speak. Ablett. As the Swans head towards the 50, McVeigh thrown out of the way like a rag doll. Now Johnston, he's gang tackled. 50 out from Sydney's goal.
It is tough in close. These are two of the best tackling teams. Hard at it, numbers. They love a scrap. And whilst it's low scoring, it's an enthralling contest.
Motlop and Jolly go at it again. Give that one to Jolly. Motlop. Lucky kick in the end to Uze. He just blazes out of trouble. And it's an excellent kick.
And we can see Aaron Davey in picture. Runner just came out to him and has told him to play further upfield, to push up near the wing position. Jared Crouch, his opponent. Demons have Neitz out at centre half forward.
Crucial minutes before half time, and White, I thought, got that at least onto his shin. Sudden death if you take the ball out of the air. I just find it extraordinary that a rule or an interpretation can deter players from taking possession. Melbourne free kick here. Advantage call. Rivers delivers pretty well for Neitz. Beaten by the bounce. So's Barry. Neitz wins the contest marginally. O'Keefe though. Barry well tied up. It is a very good contest. McVeigh, a little bit of leg in there, it didn't matter. Now Paul Bevan with Jude Bolton in short. He's got it, but the door slams in his face. And the Swans are held up for the moment.
Just need that extra goal, Sydney.
Now McVeigh, and they can build. Goes for O'Loughlin and drills it onto his sternum.
Big Barry in the goal square saying, kick it to me. But if I was O'Loughlin, I'd go back and take a set shot.
And this is kickable. He'll be kicking from about 49. Favours the right footer. And it's a huge hook with a slight fade. Another behind. Another miss from a set shot.
Darren Jolly playing against his old team, making his presence felt.
I would think that'll be looked at through the week.
Brown did well under pressure. Davey couldn't trap it in the middle. There's the man in question, Jolly.
Gee, that's a good tackle by a ruckman.
They're meant to be able to tackle. They're big blokes.
Well, nowadays they are, Tim. In the old days they say, if it's below the knee, forget it.
Ball up in the middle. Jolly did well with strength. Motlop. Good kick. And Armstrong doesn't let him down. So Stephen Armstrong, who's had limited opportunities at Melbourne, playing game number 38 tonight. Got plenty of ability. Goes long. Neitz couldn't mark. O'Keefe has the ball pinned to his chest.
And Sydney have just got massive numbers. It's just a sea of red and white back there in that defensive 50.
Double change for Melbourne. Armstrong and McLean coming off. Robertson and Godfrey coming back on.
There hasn't been a goal kick for 14 minutes. We have less than 2 left in the half. And one would be precious to either team. Davis and McVeigh, now Kennelly. Still Kennelly. And a quick transference here could give the Swans a shot at it. O'Loughlin further out this time. Hall is one out. He's after him. He's got him, but he's deep in the pocket.
Gee, that ruck contest back in Melbourne's forward pocket, it wasn't the smartest hit out that Jeff White's ever done. He just belted it towards the goals, and there was a nest of Swans there. And it was just so easy for them with their numbers to clear it. They do this particularly well, Sydney. The little chip pass to a leading forward inside the 50. There's the White hit. And there's 3 Sydney players who gobble it up.
And Hall misses again. And the Swans have kicked 3 goals 10. 1-5 for this second quarter. Hall has 1-2.
Sydney this year are last on the accuracy ladder, ranked 16th with a 53% conversion rate. On the other hand, Melbourne, the 3rd most accurate team in the comp with a 64% conversion rate. So Sydney living up to their poor kicking form this year for goal.
Adem Goods coming off with the blood rule. That's the delay. And the man with the phone to his ear there, with the headset on, is Andrew Ireland, former CEO of Brisbane.
Wheatley's kick in finds Rivers. He goes back into the defensive defensive goal square to Johnston. So it's the Demons by 14 points as we near half-time. The way they're playing, they're pretty happy with that lead. Motlop. No 15, well that was 15, surely that kid. Umpire disagreed. Motlop will have another go at it, and this time he finds a teammate.
Gee, the Demons almost playing for time here, close to half-time. The noose is tightening on them a little.
They do strengthen teams, Sydney.
No, now it's Rivers right back in the last line of defence, and Melbourne running down 40 seconds and preserving their half-time lead. This is the highest scoring team in the competition going into this round. That is half-time. And Sydney aren't out of this. The margin is 14. It's a low-scoring game. The Demons lead by a little over 2 kicks.
They've certainly had their opportunities, Sydney. They wouldn't be displeased to be 14 points behind because, as you called it, Melbourne, the highest scoring team this year.
Catch every game? Then watch The Winners.
We'll recap everything you need to know about every game.
Every Sunday, get all the highlights, stats and post-match reaction from every game with this week's host, Clinton Drivers.
It's footy's ultimate wrap every Sunday.
The Winners, this Sunday on Fox Footy Channel.
You get more for your dollar at Bunnings Warehouse every day. Cowhide garden gloves, pack of 6, only $6. Ring grip razorback lantern, just $8.50. Portable halogen floodlight, a low $8.96. GAF 250mm exhaust fan, a cool $14.98. Pack of 12 roller covers, just $9.97. HPM 24-hour timer twin pack, only $8.98. 3-piece paintbrush set, just $2.90.
Bunnings Warehouse.
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
Go Harvey Norman for digital photo printing at a low 33 cents for 6x4 photos. Capture those magical moments on your digital camera. Go to your nearest Harvey Norman store, place your digital media card in our easy-to-use digital processing centre, follow the simple instructions. Great quality 6x4 prints for just 33 cents per print. That's right, just 33 cents. Harvey Norman, your digital camera and processing specialist.
Go Harvey, Norman, go!
First action utility vehicle. And the first ever V6 4x2 Hilux, delivering 175 kilowatts of power. Get in or get out of the way.
Have you seen what's on TV this May? Check out your indispensable entertainment and listings magazine for everything you need to know. Antonia Kidman thinks we should all grow up on W exclusive The Bigger Things. You'll really dig what National Geographic's unearthed inside Tutankhamun's tomb. Courtney Cox talks to us about her new show on the Lifestyle Channel. And Missy Higgins reflects on her success ahead of the latest series of the Mac Sessions. This May, don't miss a thing with your entertainment and listings magazine.
Last week on The Gospel.
Went to the gym the other day and a few people come up after and go, oh, what are the guys like? I thought, how do you see them? Nathan Brown looks like he thinks he's, you know what, doesn't stand.
They would have been C-grade degenerate people that you go to gym with.
Does not take criticism well, Nathan Brown.
The Gospel, Friday on Fox Footy Channel.
There's Jared Crouch, who is part of the Sydney Swans midfield, and here's the difference between the Swans and the Melbourne midfield at the moment, Rob. Swans midfielders had 22 more disposals, 9 more contested possessions, 16 more uncontested possessions, 3 less clearances than the Melbourne midfield, and 4 less marks. They've had 5 more inside 50s. So it's a pretty good battle.
It is a good battle. That's an interesting one, the hit-outs, that they have won the hit-outs, and I think Jolly's stood up really well.
Neil Cordy with a report. Neil Cordy with a report on Jared Crouch.
Yes, clean bill of health for the Swans. Crouch, he had an adjustment he made on his protective brace that he wears over his collarbone, but 161 since debut, still going. Christy, how the D's going?
No injuries for the Demons.
So, second half underway. Melbourne taking a 14-point lead. Just 3 goals kicked in the second quarter, and not one in the last 15 minutes. Kirk is back. He gives to Nick Davis, who goes for O'Keefe. Wheatley just prizes it away for Bizzle. Demons will know that the Swans can produce a late burst and can be hard to stop.
Neitz playing out at centre-half forward still.
Travis Johnston sitting it up for Neitz, up on the wing. So a throw in.
So you haven't got your wish, Rob?
No, but he did come in hard off the line at the centre bounce, and you can see the results of that.
Easy, Brad.
He's going well, Jolly, in the ruck.
Jude Bolton got the clearing kick. About 65 from the Swans' goal. Brad Miller's been doing a bit of that for Melbourne the last few weeks, but he finds himself at full back tonight, so he won't be running off the line. About 55 out, in fact, from the Swans' goal. Jolly. Spriggs stripped of it by Sylvia. Kirk bowled over. Now Jude Bolton slapped it back into the corridor.
Play your own man, play on.
There's a tough ball to get at the moment. Prize paid a thank you to David Spriggs. There's O'Loughlin. Now Hall provides the lead, and Spriggs kicks in his direction. It's a good one.
And the reason Barry Hall took that mark unopposed was because Michael O'Loughlin put a block on Miller seconds earlier.
So Barry Hall looking to lay it off here. You just see the eyes moving. Far out to score. He's probably kicking for about 52 metres out, right on the boundary line. On his wrong side. Now he goes short. Was it 15?
Yes, it is. Where he kicked it.
Just as the umpire, and Schneider's got it.
Will Sudi's left boot.
So Adam Schneider. Oh, he's played on his off his line. So now he's got to go. And he goes looking for O'Keefe, and it's come off in the end.
Well, that's 3 passes in a row, and Neil Danaher, the Melbourne coach, won't be happy. Desperately need to kick a goal. 3 goals 10 on the board. And this is very gettable.
Ryan O'Keefe will be kicking from about 40. Looks good. It's right through the middle. Swans get the first goal of the third quarter. That makes it an 8-point ball game in favour of Melbourne. They worked hard for that one, Sydney. Patience paid dividends.
It's the closest the Swans have been for a long time. They're within 8 points. They were taking 50 disposals per goal through the first half. Melbourne, the most economical team in the comp, were taking about 22. Now the Demons through Johnston. Don't really go anywhere here, and fearlessly Leo Barry backs back. Double it now as the Swans build again.
Yeah, Darren Jolly's been very good in the ruck for Sydney, and no doubt would relish the opportunity.
That's a free kick for Rivers, surely. O'Loughlin threw him out of the way. was not happy, but it looked to be, as they say, dead set.
Hard to believe that Rivers is Melbourne's highest possession getter with 13.
But Melbourne starting to become just about paralysed here. They haven't been going anywhere for quite a while. Jolly well tackled, and McLean pounces for the Demons. He played a very good first half and confidently struts his stuff here. Spriggs bravely and is able to reap the reward of his effort. Barry misses him with the hand pass. The Demons have it in their attacking half, and they could do with a goal right now. They haven't kicked one for a long time.
Let's see how they go in the ruck. The two...
White tucked it inside 50. Neitz backed himself. Tackled by Armstrong. Jude Bolton, quick kick. Only as far as Johnston. Travis Johnston has it at half forward. Umpire tells him to hurry up. And his kick to Neitz is cut off by Jolly. Just couldn't quite hang on to the mark. Jude Bolton fed it out to Craig Bolton. And he switches back to the Menders side, looking for O'Keefe. Well played, Wheatley. Tapped it away and kept his feet. He loads up from 50. It's a good effort, but not quite. Well played, though, Paul Wheatley. That would have been some sort of goal.
Would have been a nice way to respond to O'Keefe's goal. The start of the quarter. Now Crouch. And he goes for O'Keefe. And he beats Wheatley to it. It's a real arm wrestle. O'Keefe for Hall on a long lead. Miller short circuits him. Did it well. Been a good contest. Hall asserting himself bit by bit on the game.
And the match up there, disposals 6 each, marks 2 to Jolly, none to White. Hit-outs to advantage Jolly, but hit-outs overall, it's Jolly 20 and Jeff White 15.
And Jeff White before tonight was ranked 3 in the AFL so far this year, Rob, with hit-outs.
Oh, look, Jolly's taken the challenge right up, and he's got the angry pills in him too.
I wonder if he can go all night. 2 of them pitted against him. He's been given the occasional respite by Goods. Big task. White beats him this time. Uze on his wrong side. Wasn't able to get penetration with the hand pass. Nick's caught over the footy. But Sydney's numbers make it a contest. And the umpire will break it up.
We saw that terrible handball attempt by Adem, and that would be the one weakness of his game. Very much a kicking player.
Smashed forward by Sylvia to Armstrong. Got boot to ball inside 50. Robertson's had it. Very quiet night. Bizzle. Did he have it? Umpire's called play on. Bevan under pressure. Kirk got bowled over. Uze feigned a free kick.
This suits Sydney. They scrap and scrape so well. And have a look at the Adem Uze handball. Not good.
So ball up. About 40 metres out from the Demons' goal. Jolly again got the tap. Neitz taken by White. Cheers, a lot of players around the ball at the moment. Crouch. Swans got it out. Kennelly, little kick inside the centre square. Can Ferguson pick it up? Well played to Sylvia. Little chip kick over the top to Davey, who dropped the beams. Now Ferguson follows up again. He couldn't trap it. Spriggs is there, lost his footing. Oh, it's a hot potato at the moment. Sylvia again with the head over the ball. He's run down by Crouch. Now Ferguson squeezes the kick. He got dealt with. It's downfield. And Crouch is not happy.
David's the man in front.
Late hit. The umpires deemed it. And gee, I think it's line ball. Love to see it again.
So here's the kick from Ferguson. And Jolly's the man.
Well, we said he had the angry pills in him. And you've just got to be a little bit careful.
It's 31 minutes since Melbourne have kicked the goal. It's a big decision.
Neitz from 10 metres out has threaded it through, and Crouch is still going at the umpire. Well, when goals are hard to come by,
there's no
give away freebies.
What do you think, Tim?
No question about it.
Too late?
Yep.
I agree with you, Tim.
And he didn't withdraw. He kept going.
Yeah. It was a big hit. It was a big hit, and that will slow Ferguson up.
At least he made him earn it.
He made him earn it, all right.
One way or another, Paul Roos won't be happy with that, but no doubt about the decision. Jolly just kept on coming, put Ferguson on the deck, relayed free kick, correctly called by Matthew Head. Melbourne's first goal in over half an hour of footy. Johnston pursued by Matthews. It is a very tense, very tight game. But that goal just gives Melbourne some breathing space. Here it is, and there's not much in it at real time, but he just kept on coming. Jolly wins in ruck. Down to Jude Bolton. The Demons in numbers. McDonald to Uze. That's a clever centre on his wrong side. Neitz held, grappled with Sylvia. Now Robertson should nail this, but he doesn't.
He's having a dirty night, is Russell Robertson. That is just his third touch for the evening.
He's there to kick goals. That was very kickable.
No, not even close as he tried to angle it on the boot. At the Sydney kick-ins, Neitz drops right back towards the wing. Just puts himself in a position to take a long kick should it come.
Swans work it to the wing, and that's a brave mark by Ferguson.
Given that he'd just been on the deck end, that he had Barry Hall.
Yes, correct. Ferguson, a good kick too. Uze's got it. Long way from home. Into the pocket. Waste no time. Robertson's there and have another chance here on the left boot. This time he has drilled it. And all of a sudden, it's a 22-point ball game.
Well, 2 quick goals in a low-scoring affair makes a big difference. Russell Robertson made amends from that bad miss just seconds earlier, and that is the beauty of this game. You can be down and out, you can make a fool of yourself, you can drop marks, kick it out of bounds, but if you persist, you just never know what's around the corner.
What did you say at half-time? He'd crawl over his grandmother to kick a goal?
Oh, he would.
He didn't have to then, but he was pretty determined. Here's Sylvia, who is doing pretty well for Melbourne. Davey on the preferred side now. Under pressure, just now get a free kick. Held or brought down from behind, one or the other, and Crouch is not thrilled again. The game flowing with Melbourne at the moment. 22 points is the margin. Seems a lot. Not really. It's only 4 straight kicks. Davey sits this up for Neitz and Goods, outmarks him consummately and breaks away boldly for O'Loughlin. What great skills.
They nurse O'Loughlin on the training track. They don't like to see him pushing up to the wings because fitness is a worry. His knees are a worry, but it's desperate times for Sydney. And Barry Hall in particular doing it hard, so O'Loughlin has to come up.
And that's not a great kick for the forwards to mark. And there is Rivers, picked up in the end by McLean, who has been impressive to say the least. So half forward. The Swans get it back. Oh, Goods got bowled over. Jamar. Wheatley couldn't control it. Goods has another crack at it. Good handball out to Jude Bolton. Here come the Swans. Long direct kick by Bolton. O'Keefe sets himself. Does well. Will go on and kick a goal. Well played, Ryan O'Keefe. Two goals this quarter to O'Keefe, and boy did they need that one.
And they made a meal of it, the Demons, across the half-forward line. Big Jamar just cannot afford to fumble. Big fellas in the ruck, you've got to be better than just being a tap ruckman. You've got to be able to take the ball cleanly at a handball received. And he made a meal of it, and that's the result.
Ryan O'Keefe, dangerous up forward. 2 of the Swans 5. They're still there. Jamar wins over Robertson, but Goods is providing the inspiration at the moment from the back half. Wheatley did brilliantly for Melbourne. McLean to nobody. Craig Bolton, Jude Bolton, and a relay free kick. Godfrey kept coming, and Goods then came at Godfrey. Sydney's ball forward to the centre.
And Goods doing the ruck work, not the centre bounce ruck work, but after that, he in effect becomes the ruckman for Sydney. And his mobility is going to worry Jamar.
Buchanan goes long. Hall and Roberts-Thompson both there. Neither could get into the contest, but it's where Sydney needed.
He's looking very frustrated, Barry Hall.
Yes, well, why not? He's only had the 5 touches, and we're well into this third quarter. Just kicked the 1 goal. And Brad Miller, at this stage, has taken the honours. But whatever you do, young fella, don't relax. This is where Hall's dangerous. Ruck contests in the forward pocket.
There he is. Buchanan fed it out to O'Keefe. He's kicked 2 goals this quarter. McLean again for Melbourne. Runs through the corner. Oh, he's gone! But he caught too high. It was a sloppy tackle. But the umpire's paid it, holding the ball.
Well, the tackle
was way too high.
The tackle was terrible.
Swans back inside 50. Hall couldn't mark. Can Goods weave some magic? He chips it high. It is a point.
That is an interesting decision, because Brock McLean deserved to be penalised for holding the ball.
But it's definitely a free kick.
But the tackle, look at the tackle. He's just about ripped his neck off.
Oh, here's a shocking kick in, and Goods can have another go at them. And it was Wheatley who made the kicking error.
Might create another goal, but not the one he wanted.
Well, he doesn't go for it. He gives it off. And it's kickable now for Ablett, with the man on the mark just inside 50. Here's Wheatley's kick. It was 7 or 8 metres off target. Rivers had no hope.
Well, we'll have to ask Jeff Gushin about that decision.
Oh, it's clearly just a blue from the umpire. You can't tackle a bloke round the neck.
No, I agree with you. It should have been the Melbourne 3.
Big arc on that. And he's lucky to score a behind. Well, what it suggests to me, Rob, is a lot of interpretations do these days that when in doubt, it's the tackler who gets the benefit rather than the ball player.
And Wheatley will be hoping to make amends after that last sloppy kick in.
Jude Bolton having some sort of quarter for the Swans. 23 disposals overall, 9 this quarter. Still plenty of time left in it. There's Miller deep in defence. And the umpire's paid it to Ferguson, who wastes no time. McLean again. Good handball to Godfrey, but he has his handball smothered by O'Keefe. Turnover. Crouch looks a little bit inconvenienced by that shoulder injury. Goods. Clever handball to O'Keefe. The Swans build. Bolton to Kennelly, who provides the run-off half-back. He's looking for O'Loughlin, but chipping in to take the uncontested mark, and again was Miller.
And gives it off to Rivers, who keeps it very wide. And good checking there by Schneider, just getting a hand in on Sylvia's attempted hand pass. Bell on.
He saw Jared Crouch, but he's tough. He'll work his way through it. Just an amazing stat. Sydney have taken the last 10 marks inside the forward 50. Melbourne are not taking marks in their forward line.
Next goal's a big one. Green, been pretty quiet. Did well really there to hold it. He might be in some bother. Comes out, fortunately for him. Umpire's letting it go. Out McDonald. And a clever controlled dab with the left to Johnston, whose kicking skills are magnificent.
And there's that mark in the forward 50 that they desperately needed.
Who else has been quiet? Rob, is Brad Green, just the 4 touches.
He's been very cold. Russell Robertson hasn't touched much of it either, so they've got 2 good forwards who are having ordinary nights to this stage.
The accuracy over long range is the tester here. From just outside 50, big kick for the skipper. And it is a big kick. Oh. Melbourne by 15. That just can be won and lost on those wafer-thin margins.
Kennelly short to Bevan. And he in turn finds Barry.
Yeah, and this is just their tempo. They just control the footy. They keep it away from Melbourne with this keepings off style.
Very short to Goods, telegraphed it. Bevan's there to mop up. Good tackle by McDonald. Bevan threw it away. Comes out to Ferguson. God, it's brave stuff by Craig Bolton. Kennelly bowled over. Now Davey off the ground. It's bouncing into the goal square. Neitz! Neitz has got 3, 2 of them this quarter, plus a poster.
And the keepings off got them into trouble in the end, Sydney. And I think it was Ferguson who came over the top and got that spoil. And what a terrific squared up kick on his non-preferred side by Aaron Davey. And Paul Roos will be ruining that.
Back out to 21 points the difference.
The game not gone yet. Well, that's a big goal for Melbourne. Davey would have loved to have known what would have happened had that ball just been left to curl, but he'd be happy his captain was there. Swans are away. O'Keefe's having a big quarter. Gives to Schneider. Well done, Miller. Asserting himself on Hall.
Who?
Miller not done with yet. Went too far. Did Big Barry. That won't do a lot for his hurting temper.
Hang on, Barry! Back here!
If Miller's exposed to the ball to a teammate, you'd think it would be allowed to go on. Melbourne are actually disadvantaged by being held up. Now Bell.
A couple of little injury concerns for Melbourne. Motlop has come off and had his little toe strapped up, and Jamar is just having his left calf worked on.
He's pinky.
Nathan Brown. Melbourne pressing late in the quarter. If they kick another, it is getting pretty serious for the Swans.
There's not much space to lead into.
Neitz was giving a lead, but Robertson gave one as well, and it's his ball now. Beyond 50, played on, so he's free to be tackled. Here comes White. Big leap, big mark.
Great call, Tim. And White down there because Adam Goods has had a very good third quarter, and Goods has been getting plenty of ball in that defensive half of Sydney. And White's just come back on the ground as ruckman, far more mobile than Jamar, and as a result, he gives himself a chance to kick a goal.
It's a great grab, wasn't it?
And in a tight match like this, shots such as this one must not be missed. From 25 metres, straight in front, he gives Melbourne a 27-point lead. He would have enjoyed that. just pulling Robertson off the kick, but it sat perfectly for White.
To go in this match, but the Swans looking in a spot above it. 27 points now the Demons lead by.
And you can see Ty Kennelly, he's the loose player in defence for Sydney. Neil Danaher cannot afford to let that happen, has to get a player down there to cover him. I think it might be Sylvia who's up on the wing. He just cannot let Kennelly run free. He's the playmaker.
White again for Melbourne, puts him into attack. There's the man, Ty Kennelly. Gets it moving quickly to Barry. Puts one back over the top to Kennelly. So the Swans building. So half forward, Hall, Johnston. And he goes short and finds Brown.
Must have been 15 metres exactly, the kick. Do you reckon Barry Hall could have been a little bit more aggressive there? I reckon Barry was kind to a couple of Demon defenders.
Kicks to the wing. Oh, good mark, Jolly. Oh, not quite. McDonald. Bounce.
Barry Hall, last contest. Travis Johnson, you're a lucky man. He's in a good mood.
He could hear it. He might have been in trouble.
And there, Colin Sylvia's been moved back onto Kennelly. A little bit late because he got a couple of touches.
Jolly brought it down, but to Godfrey, who saw it coming to Johnston. And Melbourne are dangerous. Uze cleverly with the left. Armstrong got there. Green on his preferred side, miscued. Robertson now. Over his grandmother, perhaps. No, gives to Armstrong. Now, who's under it? Swans take it to the line. Lead 28.
Kennelly brings it in once again. Plays on to himself. Goes to the Members' side. For no one in particular, Keith will get there first. Bell hot on his heels.
Motlop is limping around to the Melbourne rooms. That toe giving him quite a bit of trouble.
Interesting stat, this one. Have a look at the number of handballs that Sydney have had over Melbourne. Twice the number of handballs. But what Sydney do, they have rapid-fire handball in close at the stoppages. Often it's 3 handballs in a row. The ball only goes maybe 5 metres.
White kicks it in between a couple of Swans. Barry to Crouch. Now Dempster. Puts Bevan under the hammer. He's dispossessed. Kirk gets driven into the ground. Captain for the night. Kirk gets up and he's okay. Into the middle. McVeigh. The lead's on. It's a good pass to Davis. Couldn't hang on to it. Buchanan back to Davis. Decides to go himself. Paul's caught behind Miller.
Another example of Demon defenders coming in to help, and it was just a gutsy effort by Ferguson to push back and make it a 2-on-1 on Barry Hall. See that? Super courage.
Yeah, they've been terrific. Hall not able to work it to anybody. Rigoni off to Johnston. Spriggs in the way. Swans desperate for one in the last minute of the quarter. But Ben Matthews from out there, he doesn't think so. He's got Big Barry loose. And it's now Hall's responsibility in the last 30 seconds to kick this and keep the Swans in touch. They came from 32 points down at three-quarter time against Brisbane in round 3. At the moment it's 28. This to cut it to 22 at the last change. He's done it. They're still there.
Now look at Kirk calling in his men around Barry Hall. Look what Brett Kirk is doing at the moment, trying to fire up his team. And the whole Sydney squad run up to Barry Hall. As the Swans all of a sudden go to three-quarter time with momentum. 22 points. 70 plays 48. As Barry Hall kicks his second for the night, Rob.
Well, it certainly gives them some hope, doesn't it? And there's no doubt Paul Roos will be talking to his players at three-quarter time, reminding them of what they did do a fortnight ago up at the Gabba when they pinched a game from Brisbane.
So far from over this contest, but at the last change, the Demons lead the Swans by 22.
The traditional Anzac Day clash sees old foes Essendon and Collingwood in a battle for pride, honour and 4 valuable points. Collingwood-Essendon, 5 o'clock Monday on Fox Footy Channel.
It was awful. Men were dropping like flies. Others were rushing back, some crawling. Others dragging the poor devils who couldn't walk. And blood. I never thought there could be so much of it. Lawrence Riggs, Corporal, 1st Battalion.
On Tuesday night, the highest flying swan of them all, Bobby. Not Mr. Tight Shorts himself. Warwick Cabot, plus a tough man with a promise and the Kangaroos, Johnny Casson.
Grumpy Old Man, Tuesday on Fox Footy Channel.
Let's go down to our boundary riders. Former Swan star Neil Cordy, with him Christy Malthouse.
Melbourne really fired up then. A few of the players, Miller, Robertson and Neitz, just yelling out to their teammates to be hard and tough and physical and just play out the game. So they are really, really fired up. Motlop is still in the rooms. They strapped up his little toe, but he was still quite uncomfortable with it, so he's gone into the room for them to check that further. Jamar is starting on the bench, but they have worked on his calf and he seems right to come back on.
Yeah, speaking of fired up, Christy, Paul Roos, normally very placid. He was really revving up, getting very emotionally involved, calling on one last effort from his team.
We start the final term. Here's Tim Lane.
Well, it's a big one, isn't it? And you can feel it from up here. Melbourne go in with a 22-point lead. Big game for both clubs. Spriggs running hard at that. The ricochet to Jolly. And eventually the kick out of the middle to Jude Bolton. Bizzle attacking it. Goods. Ganged up. McDonald. Took a long time eventually, but to O'Loughlin. Sydney a chance here. Hall doubling back. Miller with him. 3 Demons there. Keeping it close to the line, and they won't be displeased with that result.
We were talking if Sydney drop this game, they're 2 and 3, and they've got West Coast at Subi next week. And staring perhaps at 2 and 4.
Yes, and Ty Kennelly in picture has been moved to a wing. So Paul Roos desperate to get him in the flow.
They did it against Brisbane a couple of weeks ago, coming from 32 points down at the last change up at the Gabba. The Swans have got plenty left in the tank. Uze had an excellent night.
David Neitz back in the goal square, so he's got no long option to go to.
Possession number 15. He looks for Robertson, who takes a hanger.
Well, he's a medium-sized man, but he's got a mighty big leap.
Robertson on the left. Nix to Kirk. Dempster runs into trouble. He's got Kirk in support again. Spriggs. Kirk again.
Build up their handballs.
Dempster now. Craig Bolton. So the Swans. Here's a chance. Hall and McLean have got both their opponents one out. He goes for long option. Miller, well done. Came to the front and punched it away, and Bizzle comes in to mop up. That is a big play by Brad Miller.
Didn't he do it well? He was very lonely down there with only Barry Hall for company. Right back to Bizzle. Delivers it perfectly to Bell, and the Demons now dangerous on the rebound. Robertson got the hands on, couldn't clutch it. Bevan tied up by Armstrong. Robertson prizing it for Davey. Uze on the preferred, but under pressure. Leo Barry has it covered on his non-preferred side. Steers the kick well. Finds Jolly. First goal worth a couple in this match. Darren Jolly's had a big night. He's done himself proud against his old club. But he'd like to find something extra now. This is the money corner. Nix knocks it into the clear. And they're a chance again. Went beyond Hall to O'Loughlin. Spillage to Rivers. Miller just got it off. Bizzle with 2 to beat. Kirk's got him. You don't get away from the captain. Ball. Tough call. Sydney's footy.
The heat's increasing at the SCG as the Swans try and make a charge.
Need to get this first goal.
It's still the Demons by 22. Kirk's a long way from home. Hall leads. Hall marks. Very, very tight angle. He's about 45 from goal, a couple of metres in from the boundary line on his non-preferred side.
He's become very much a leading player, Barry Hall, and they are patient, they wait, and this is the free kick given against Bizzle.
There was just nothing he could do.
No, tough call.
So Barry Hall's kicked 2-2 for the night. This is a very big ask from this angle. He stabs at it, and it's hit the post.
I think it's the third time that post's been struck. O'Loughlin and Hall for Sydney, and Neitz in the previous quarter did it for the Demons. 2-3 to Hall. Bizzle, who was the player caught in that tackle a moment ago. Bell, he was off. He stepped over the mark. Ferguson. Some nervous footballers out there. No one wants to make that mistake that could blow up in their own and their team's face. Ferguson long. Not much there for Melbourne. Jude Bolton in front of Godfrey.
Godfrey's got the tagging job on Bolton. Bolton red hot in that third quarter.
Biggest possession earner on the ground is Bolton. Sydney pressing hard. Lovely ball, Davis. O'Loughlin in the middle. Ferguson's fist was the telling one. Johnston has it covered. Margin 20.
And again, another courageous Melbourne pack spoil. There's a man who's lost. Brad Green, 4 touches for the night, and I've watched him. He just doesn't know where to go or what to do. His confidence is rock bottom.
Copped a heavy knock early from his captain, David Neitz, in a marking contest.
And that wouldn't help.
Davey off. Motlop on for Melbourne, and he receives straight away. Thank you. Nice little present when he comes straight back on the ground. Long ball, target is White. Jolly works his way to the front. Bevan. Handball went straight to McLean. Jude Bolton was desperate. Sylvia did well to get it to McLean. Squeezes the kick inside 50. Neitz one out. Can't take the chest mark. Now Ablett. Ducked the head dangerously. Got away with it as he finds Barry, who finds Kirk.
It is so tight. This is a very tense game of footy. Jolly. Oh, 2-on-1 Melbourne's way. Johnston was able to place the fist, and place it he did for McLean. Oh, too cute. White just couldn't run for him to give him some leeway on the hand pass. Crouch, Bolton. Crouch, the courageous one again. Gone. Did well to get rid of it. O'Keefe. This is a struggle. Bolton in the Hall direction. Did all the pushing and shoving, but wasn't on his feet when the ball arrived. O'Loughlin lays the tackle. Bizzle fights on. Brown's there to help him. Demons out of trouble. Can they hurt on the rebound? Armstrong. Great tackle by Bevan. Ferocious footy. Fierce footy. Ball up the result. What a contest.
And the rapid fire handball of Sydney coming off that half back line, and look, their coaches told them run and dare, run and carry, bring each other into the game, just take that ball from half back to wing and then aim for Barry Hall.
Spriggs in heavy traffic, got it to Goods, around the corner to centre half forward. The fist was from Brown, swooping as Johnston. He's been good. Disposal number 18, but he's coughed it up. Terrible kick. Bolton handballs to O'Keefe, who can run on and kick a goal. Partially smothered by Ferguson. Another big play by the Melbourne defence, and Miller was clever to knock it over the line, wasn't he?
7.5 minutes into this final quarter, and it's been Sydney, all attack.
And the crack appeared when Travis Johnston was careless with a kick. But Brad Miller was able to retrieve for the Demons. Still Sydney deep in attack. Hall, clean hand onto it. White getting his body over it. Ablett contesting. A ball up as the result. Well, nearly 7 minutes of the 20 have gone. There hasn't been a goal kick.
Do this pretty well, Sydney. They get their numbers away from the ball in their forward pocket, so there's a bit of space to work in.
Miller helps White out against Hall. And they'll have to do it all over again. The goals haven't started coming for the Swans yet. They need at least 4 of them. Matthew Head bouncing the footy. Hall wins, but to Bizzle. That was dangerous. Chance for Sydney. Wheatley did well to get a little toe onto the ball. Kirk, well tied up. Didn't cross the line. Johnston, well tackled by Bevan. Oh, this is great stuff. This is not pretty, but it's thrilling football. We've got 2 teams here who aren't prepared to go home without the points tonight. Spriggs giving Hall a breath of a chance. Jude Bolton desperate. The tacklers are desperate. The Swans, O'Loughlin, they get the goal. They just willed themselves to get a goal. It was just numbers and force and effort and grunt, and they just eventually freed it up. And that is the strength of this team. They do not give up. Sometimes it's ugly. And the home crowd is right behind them now.
The Swans left, the crowd lifts. Neil Cordy, they might have lost one of their most important players though.
Yeah, Ryan O'Keefe, left groin. They're working feverishly on him at the moment. Doesn't look good though.
And this is where Goods has been coming in off half back.
Just check the ball in.
And after that centre bounce, Jolly goes forward. And Adam Goods becomes the ruckman.
Nick smashes it forward. Only as far as Bizzle. Nice kick to half forward. Green with one of his rare touches tonight. This is number 5. No mark to Neitz. Dempster to Kirk to Barry. Has he kept it alive? No, he hasn't. Free kick to Melbourne at half forward.
So Green's got it again. Margin just 14. Hasn't placed that terribly well. Robertson was his only hope. It's all red and white in there, but Bevan's turned it over. Bevan did well to mop up his mess, and Sydney's numbers should prevail. Buchanan, Barry, Dempster. The youngster didn't know whether to come or go. Eventually he does a bit of both. Kirk, Buchanan, Swans can split it open here. They're dangerous. Good Shepherd laid. Clever little kick for Hall. Couldn't hang on. Schneider on the wrong side. Back onto the right one. Ablett now. A long way from home. He's got a man. Oh, and Jolly could not get his hands onto it. Wasted opportunity.
It was a great handball in the end from Dempster. He split it open, didn't he?
They did. They are playing bold attacking football, particularly off half back. And this is a fantastic game.
The D's by 13 in the last couple of minutes. Green's come into it. 3 touches in a couple of minutes. Short to Brown. No one on the mark. So he strolls off. And he finds McLean, who I've said on a couple of occasions has been extremely impressive tonight.
It's just so important that Melbourne don't shut up shop. They have to play attacking football. They have to be thinking we can outscore Sydney in this last quarter, not defending.
50 out from Melbourne's goal, and we'll have a stalemate here.
I reckon they need at least 1 goal to win it.
They do. They've got to continue to attack. They have won each quarter. And they just can't have that psychology and start thinking, well, we've just got to defend here.
Half this quarter's gone and they haven't scored. The Swans have only kicked one. Clever kick from McDonald. Kirk held up well. Plenty of supporters. The ball up. Swans vulnerable here. It's in the corridor. Straight in front. He looks as though he's gone a few rounds himself.
And Brett Kirk, Captain Kirk, magnificent in this final term. Brock McLean just has to tighten up on him.
Goods and Jamar. Jamar can rove. Neitz, one way the other. Bevan in good position. That's a free kick. A free kick to Bevan. Got his body in the right spot. Held his ground. And the transgression came.
Bevan deep in defence.
But Kirk, 7 disposals in this last quarter. 6 of them have been handballs.
O'Keefe's back on, groin straight and all, and he works hard to receive at half back. To the wing, looks for Hall. Miller once again sees it safely over the line.
And you can see the message has gone out to Brock McLean. Go step for step with Kirk. Respect his ability to win the hard ball in close.
Goods against Jamar. Jamar comfortably over the top, got the tap. Picked up by Kennelly. Good tackle, Wheatley. Adem to Kirk. Duck once too often, should be penalised. Umpire said play on. By the bounce.
You had your hand on it. You took the ball in your hand. You shot it.
Scruff of the neck there, but these days it tends to be deemed permissible. 8 minutes left. 13 points the margin. Goods. Cleverly bending it for Hall. Brown's hands letting him down, but he has support. Bizzle, very good. Mopping up a lot in this last quarter, and that's a good kick for Bell with courage. Immense courage. And Kirk didn't want for it either, coming the other way. Here's Schneider. His range. His moment. No. Not quite.
The courage of this game and the players who play it. And I think it's young Bell who's gone down.
Bell and Kirk were the two that went for the ball. Only eyes for the ball.
Amazing courage, both of them.
Bell's in trouble. I think he's coming off to the 50. Melbourne have got a mark. It's Neitz.
Well, he's just got to go down, settle down and have a shot. Captain's kick, captain's goal. That's what's required. Take the pressure off his team.
Bell's rattled. He's okay, but he is coming off for a break. Kirk, the man he collided with, is okay.
And I reckon with 7 minutes to go, they've got to get Jamar off and get Jeff White on.
Well, there's a thumping kick. He'll be kicking from about 51 metres out. This is what confronts him. Neitz gives it everything. Oh, Robertson!
He set himself. He left early, knees in the back, took it on his chest. And this is what Russell Robertson does best. Takes hangers when it's counted.
Russell Robertson, that could well be the match-winning mark.
Early leap. Classic mark.
So Russell Robertson, from point-blank range, that one.
And isn't that what footy's all about? In the last 2 minutes, we've seen the courage of players keeping their eyes on the ball in a tough situation, and then the old-fashioned screamer in the goal square.
Russell Robertson has taken one of the marks of 2005, and it was even bigger because it could well be the match-winning goal for Melbourne. They were under siege. And he's gone back and kicked a goal. David Neitz loved it. Even the umpire ran past and gave him a pat on the backside. It's the Demons by 19 points. Will that be enough?
It could be the stake through the heart. There's just time, but here's McDonald for Melbourne. If they kick another, that would be it. Neitz, so he should have held on. He was in the right posse. Bevan to crouch. Goods. McDonald applying pressure. Melbourne going for the jugular now. Armstrong did well. So did Kirk. And Kirk will get a free kick. Just over 5.5 minutes left.
This is the collision. The courage of Bell and Kirk, and particularly Daniel Bell.
Well, it's been well recounted that he was very close to Troy Broadbridge. They've said they want to play in a way this year that Troy would be proud of, and
groomsman
would have been proud of Daniel Bell in that moment. It might be the telling moment. The margin 19. Terrific contest this. Kirk getting his body into every exchange in this last quarter, tying up Green there. McLean's been good for Melbourne. Oh, that was a dangerous place for James McDonald to have his head. Fortunately, it's still on his shoulders. And there he is at the bottom of the pack. And the Demons work it away through Rigoni. Now, can Davey seize the moment? He might be the man for the hour. He is. The Demons are home. He can park himself away quietly for much of a game, and he can kill you in a moment.
He's been impressive tonight, and what's been most impressive is his ability to lock the ball in the Melbourne forward line, put the tackles and put the chasers on, harass. And we also know he's capable of this blistering pace.
Paul Roos knows it's game over. So do most of the Swans fans. Melbourne have responded to every challenge. They lead by 25. And here they come again. McLean from 50 out into the goal square. It's raining goals for Melbourne. Another beauty. This is a very good football side.
It was important that they continued to attack, that they had faith in themselves. With 10 minutes to go, there was just a little bit of a waver. Were they going to play, keep things off and just try to deny Sydney the ball and hang on to their lead? They're better than that, and what we've seen in the last 3 minutes proves it.
It's over for the Swans for tonight. For the first time since late in 2002, they've lost consecutive SCG games. Melbourne have remained rock solid, despite the fact that the Swans have thrown everything at them. Bolton to Nix. Swans still coming. Ferguson under a hospital ball. And he comes out of it with a free kick.
Yeah, in the back of the head, Nick.
Needless free kick, really. He was going to be battling to mark that under the pressure that the kick put him under. Motlop, returning to league football after 2 years. Round 5 it was in 2003. He played his last game with the Kangaroos. Dempster, McVeigh, Buchanan. The sting out of it now after a titanic struggle. Ryan O'Keefe, whose 2 third-quarter goals revived the Swans. Here's Hall, but Miller within a tissue paper of him as he's been all night. His has been a magnificent performance.
And it's given Neil Danaher options to be able to play Miller as a centre-half back. He did play some of his early games with the Demons as a centre-half back, but the last couple of years as a centre-half forward. But this is a night in which they learn a lot, the Demons. I'm just so glad that they didn't go into their shell with 10 minutes to play and desperately try to hang on. They've got more talent than that, and they've shown it.
This is McVeigh. go short to Jolly, who has been far from disgraced. He's had a great night for Sydney. There's his old team. Inside 50. Goods, sucker off the ground. McLean slots it through for another rush behind. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 rush behind for the Sydney Swans.
It's typical of Melbourne's desperation in defence. They will lunge at the footy, they will come over the top, they'll be the third man up for the spoil. They really do work for each other.
Brad Miller's ball, they're not guarding the mark, inviting him to take off.
And I think, Tim, the years of being up one year and down the next, they're gone. This is a mature football team.
Not a great placement from Miller. Buchanan receiving from Jolly. Still the Demon defence works hard. Green sweeping it clear for Brown. And that's a good kick to Godfrey. Where's Neitz? He's arriving hard, but Robertson says, I've got it. And he can have another go. The man on the mark, about 46 out. Robertson's kicked 2 second half goals.
Good way to win a game of football, quarters, when you win every quarter of the game, which they are going to do. And Sydney, they've worked hard. They have been so hard at it. Just lack a bit of skill to finish off.
That's a good kick.
Great kick.
That's a great kick. His third.
And we said at half-time that they needed Russell Robertson to lift. He had a miserable first half, just 2 touches of the footy, and he's done it. He's come out and kicked 3 goals in the second half, and that screamer that he took in the goal square, well, that would have deflated any team.
So the Demons finishing this game off in style, and they will, by the time the siren sounds, have won every quarter. You can't ask for more than that. Sylvia to Rigoni. Oh, Sylvia copped the heady one. It's Kirk. He's got a loose man on in White. But he ignores him. Now he goes to the lead of Neitz. He gets clean bowled. Barry in game number 150. Brown into the goal square. And Craig Bolton kicks it alive and takes it over the line for a throw in. Leading stat getters, Jude Bolton's got 30 and Kirk 22 for the Swans. McLean 22 and Rivers 19 for Melbourne.
He's a possession getter, Rivers, and so too Ryan Ferguson. And Melbourne's matches to come. And they'll be happy with that. 3 in a row at the MCG.
And then Carlton's last game at Optus Oval. That could be a danger one. It'd be an emotional occasion for Carlton. But they've set themselves up well now, Melbourne. 4th win from 5 outings. And should be able to do pretty well over the next month and set up the second half of their season. Just under 30,000 for this Anzac fixture at the SCG. Not a happy occasion for Swans fans, but whoever you support, you've seen a really good footy match. Buchanan works it clear here, but to no one. Sylvia. Ablett overrunning it. Motlop. Spriggs straight into the body of McDonald. Sydney there in numbers. And eventually likely to work it clear. Not yet. Kirk. Still not yet. Bolton back for another go. Finally, McVeigh. And here's Hall with Miller. Now, it's been paid.
He'll be absolutely filthy, Brad Miller.
He might well. Justin Schmidt was right beside the players. He's adjudged that the mark was taken on the bell. I'm glad the match isn't hinging on it. It could have been quite controversial.
And a great job Brad Miller has done on Barry Hall. in one-on-one contests, Miller beat him most times. The only time Barry got it was when he was able to lead into space.
His 6th mark of the night, doesn't produce his 3rd goal. He finishes the night with 350 goals for his career. Melbourne finished the night with tremendous confidence and self-respect. This was an outstanding 34-point win.
Let's give it down to Christie with a man who took an absolute specky in the last quarter, Russell Robertson.
Russell, a great win and a Mark of the Year contender.
I don't know about that. Seen some good ones already. But look, great win, like you said. To come away, it's hard to win on the road, so the boys were really keen to get up here. And, the Anzac spirit, all that sort of stuff. It's just a great night for football. And, look, we'll be very happy with this. And we'll take it in the next week, I reckon.
You broke away in the end there, but before that it was really desperate footy. It was just so tough for both teams to score.
Look, it was. It was a scrappy, I guess, game of football. But both teams were 100% at the footy, I think. Kudos to Sydney. They were hard at it. Look, we were lucky to finish off in the end. And, look, for myself, it was a very, very slow start. But it's nice to be able to, I guess, in junk time, get some goals. But, look, on the boys' behalf, they played fantastically well tonight. Got in, really cracked in. Defenders, I thought, were magnificent.